Welcome once again to the House of Bob for the Fellowship of the One Shot. We are playing The One Ring today, published by Free League Press. We are very excited to get back into it. Joining me today is Alex.
Hello again.
Christina.
Hi.
Janette.
Hello.
And our special guest from over the pond, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Well, last time we gathered 3 hobbits and a dwarf in Bilbo Baggins' home, Bag End in Hobbiton, where he set them on a special quest. Hobbits from the Shire have been going missing. Just on the edges of the Hobbit land, near the old small town known as Sarn Ford, a crossing of the river south of the Brandywine, hobbits have been going missing. So these 4, whether they are reluctant or not, adventurers have made their way around the Barrow Downs, skipping over most of the journey and travel mechanics to arrive here at a steep ravine covering a cliffside cave. 4 humans have established a camp here, and we've followed their tracks, figuring that these men must be the reason that people are going missing. They recognize that Tomten and Ada, our dwarf and one of our hobbits, are not the courteous visitors bearing gifts that they purport to be, and are in fact nosy no-gooders who are attempting nosy do-gooders who are attempting to put their noses where their business does not belong.
They're good noses and bad business.
Good noses, bad business.
I got the big nose and big toes.
Oh, nose.
Oh, nose. You
So,
know what that means.
when we left off last episode, one of these humans recognized the cookies that Tomten was offering them were in fact stamped with a sign that they knew to be from a meddlesome fellow named Bilbo Baggins. So they've launched themselves at you, attempting to grab you. We're going to be entering the combat game. Combat is done in phases in the One Ring, and the very first phase is the volley phase. So we had just happened to have Matt and Timmalee sitting up on a ridge above with ranged weapons. Because you have this advantage, because you have this drop on them, so to speak, you get to roll a free attack.
Good thing we made a sort of plan.
It's a pretty decent plan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just rolling for bows.
Yeah, rolling for bows. So a D12 plus whatever number of D6s you get on your bow. I think, Matt, you get 2, and I think Timmalee also gets 2.
Oh no, I rolled an 11.
Oh, no.
So that just is going to be a 0.
Question, when someone rolls an 11,
Mhm.
is it just 0 on the D12 or is the whole roll 0?
That D12 is a 0 unless
Okay.
unless your hope has fallen so low that you are miserable.
Right, so it's like 0 plus the number of D6s.
Right.
So you could, if you rolled a bunch of actual 6s, still succeed.
Right. You could. Yeah.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
All right.
If, as I said, if.
That's a
Usually,
big if.
Timmalee's just shooting like scarecrows and stuff. So
Yeah.
So Timmalee's opening volley goes wide. What about Matt's?
I rolled 10 total.
10 total. And it looks to me, looking at your character sheet here, that you needed to beat a 16, which is what your strength is. So
Oh,
you
no.
miss as well. But you know what? I'm a nice guy. And you did notice that one of those bandits was standing quite near to the edge of the ravine. I'll get you to roll that check with inspiration or with insight. So could you roll that D12 again for me, and maybe it'll be better?
So it's like 7 again.
No, no.
Exactly the same.
You
What was
gotta
it?
find
What
a
was it?
new die.
7 again.
Okay, so same number. So unfortunately, still a miss. Your opening volleys fall short. We are now in the close quarter rounds. So what we do here, each player decides what their stance is going to be. You're either in a forward stance where you're taking a little more risks. You're going to get an extra D6 on your attacks, but your enemies also get an extra D6 to strike you. You could be in an open position where you're just kind of, letting the battle carry you around. You're not being particularly defensive or aggressive. Or you're defensive. You get a minus D6 to your attacks, but your enemies also get a minus D6 to attack you. or you're ranged. And I think that probably Timmalee and Matt will stay ranged. So once Cristina and Alex have picked your stances, then we'll move to the next step. What do you want to do?
I think it's only fair to Ada that Tomten take the forward position.
And you can all choose similar. Like it doesn't...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just choosing your stance.
I've just figured that it was kind of my idea to, approach the scenario this way. It did not go the way that I had planned. Also, I seem to be the only one here who has any armor, so...
I have a little bit. But yeah, I think I'll take the secondary position. I am nimble, so let's say I maybe jumped back when one tried to grab me.
Okay. So if you want a summary of these as well, they're on page 96 of the rule book. There is an additional kind of combat ability that you can use instead of attacking based on your stance. Tomten, by taking the forward stance, you could also intimidate a foe. And Ada, by taking the open stance, you could also rally your comrades.
Ah, that seems good.
Yes, so to intimidate foe, you make an awe roll, and you can force your enemies to become wary on their next attacks, which is basically everything on a d6 that's a 1, 2, or 3 counts as a 0. And then rallying your allies, you make an enhearten check. If you pass your enhearten, allies who are in the forward stance gain an extra 1d6 on their attack rolls.
Okay. So I just get 1d6 because I don't have anything in it. Or 1d12, sorry.
Yeah. So now there are 4 enemies in front of you. There are 2 of you in melee range, so 2 of them are going to attack each of you. You get to kind of do like a fast action and a slow action. What do you want to do? Are you attacking? Are you trying the special action? You'll only get to do one or the other.
Oh, I think Tomten's going to attack.
Mm-hmm.
What's the action economy here? I have 2 weapons. Can I use them both in a single round, or how does that work?
I don't see anything that says that you are allowed to.
Is there anything that says I'm not allowed to?
Yeah, what about the opposite?
What about the opposite, Shaun? They're one, I'm a dwarf. I carry one in each hand, right?
Right.
Cool looking guy.
Here's what we'll do. I'll let you take a minus d6 to the roll.
If I want to use both.
And if you succeed, you get to do the damage of both.
That's pretty cool.
Until someone calls into the show and tells me otherwise.
Call in now.
Let him.
The
okay.
lines are live.
Okay. Tomten just comes out swinging. And 15. Ooh, just enough. And one of these 6s is a 6. One of my d6s is a 6. Does that do anything?
It sure does. I think you just do extra damage.
Okay.
But this is more than enough to take this guy down. He is knocked back by your axe. The pickaxe kind of digs into his side. And at this point, I'm going to give you an option.
Nice. I like options.
You know, and we all kind of know from a meta perspective, that to perform a misdeed in Tolkien's world is to invite the shadow within you.
Oh.
You might be operating with these guys on partial knowledge. To murder someone, whether they're innocent or deserving of justice, is a potential misdeed that can invite the shadow within. Do you strike this man to kill?
I mean, is he incapacitated?
What does Tomten do? Does he strike this man with the intent to kill?
You had to say.
But does it look like he's incapacitated?
You are swinging the axe at him.
Oh my god.
Do you want to incapacitate him, basically?
Are you looking to knock this guy out or down, or are you looking to kill him?
I mean, dead man can't give us leads on treasure, so...
Okay.
Not going the fatal route, but later we'll see what happens. But a dead man can't tell us where to find treasure.
Okay. So your intention is not to cut him down, but to instead to try and get him out of your way and incapacitate him. So you knock him to the ground.
Yep.
It is Ada's turn.
Okay, I am going to try to enhearten my fellow hobbits and fellow dwarf.
Okay.
Oh, I only got an 8, and I don't have anything in it.
Okay. So it's just a fail.
Oh.
Those of you who are standing at ranged are able to fire your bows.
Man, I'm not rolling great. I got a 14.
14. Okay. Does that hit or does that miss?
That's a miss.
Okay. And what about you, Matt?
I got 19, but I got a 12.
19 with a 12, so that is definitely a success. You can go ahead and deal your damage, which I think is 3. So 3 damage to 1. And with that 12, you manage to shoot your arrow into the leg of the man standing near the edge of the cliff, and he tumbles back, falling over the edge into the river below.
Does that count as killing him?
I'm going to have you take 1 point of shadow.
Oh, dang.
He's just going for a swim.
Yeah, he might not be dead.
You hear sounds of panicked drowning from underneath you.
Oh, no.
That doesn't sound like a swim.
Okay, but wait, I have a question about this because was Matt's intention to kill this man or was it just to save his friends? Because then what's the difference between like intending versus not intending in the shadow ability?
Fine, don't take a shadow point. Janette's moralistic compass saves you in this instance.
Brilliant.
No shadow.
I mean, that actually is a good question.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mhm.
I mean, if he dies off screen,
Yeah, if he falls into the river, we don't know he's dead.
There you go. There you go.
exactly.
Yeah. He could wash up on shore later.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 enemies remain. Now, the question is, how do I do bad guys?
That's a good question.
Poorly, I hope.
Right?
Maybe they just like run away.
Yeah, they're just so impressed by hobbits shooting a bow 4 times. One hit.
Here's what actually happens. You guys roll. So Alex and Cristina each make a parry roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got nimble.
Mm-hmm.
What does that get me extra?
Sure. 1d6.
And it says it raises my parry rating by 1 nimble.
Oh my gosh. I'm supposed to hit your parry rating. What?
Oh,
Oh my God.
that makes more sense because I'm like, but it makes mine so much harder to hit +1.
Yeah.
So my parry rating is 18.
17.
Oof. Thank you, nimble.
That is a miss.
Wow.
And against Tomten, that's a 13.
Nice. That's a miss.
All right, both misses. All right, so now we go back to setting stances. So you can change your stance here if you want. Christina's in Harden last time was a fail, so no bonuses going forward.
No.
Tomten's feeling confident.
Okay, just doing the same
He
thing.
knocked this guy down, was a nimble little dwarf and avoided getting hit by the other guy. He's feeling confident. He's going to stay forward.
All right, do it.
And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to swing with both of my weapons because, obviously, that fucking rocked. 19 against 14. One of my D6s was a 6.
Let's just add that as an extra point of damage.
Nice.
All right, so another guy goes down.
Nice.
And Cristina.
I think I'm going to take a forward stance as well. And this may be crude, but Ada's going to go straight for the newts. Because I'm at good ball punching height, I assume.
Oh, no.
You're just going to punch balls?
These are men. I have Ticken lore, so I assume I've read about how men have a weakness.
But not hobbit,
yeah,
hobbit
sure.
balls?
Sure.
Well, they're just so much lower to the ground.
They're used to being like smacked on rocks when they're walking around. So it's
Yeah, exactly.
party balls.
Oh, my.
Okay, so, sorry, what do I do again with this?
I don't even know. You roll an attack?
Yeah, I can't remember how to do it.
You get an extra D6 because you're in the forward mode?
Yes.
Are you doing dagger or are you doing...
I guess I'm using my spear. I mean, I was really just going to use my fist.
You could use the butt of the spear. you
Yeah,
know?
okay.
So yeah, you're going to roll a D12 with 2 D6s because you are in the forward stance.
Okay. Oh no, I did get an 11 and then 6.
That's way too many 11s already.
I know.
So an 11 is a 0,
Mm-hmm.
and you said just a 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's play that 6 forward to some sort of advantage that you can pass on to someone else.
So maybe I try to jab at him, but he jumps out of the way, but that could leave him more open for a bow attack.
Okay, let's give a D6 to one person who's shooting with a bow. Who do you want to give it to?
Matt.
Okay. 25 and I got a 6.
Woo.
Woohoo.
Nice.
25 and you got a 6, so he goes down. That is more than enough to totally knock this guy out with the damage he's taken already before. There's one still standing. Go ahead for it there, Timmalee.
All right, Timmalee's gonna like blow on her bow and like kind of shake it, trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and then go for another strike. 13.
13 is a miss. This final brigand stands before you. This is the man who emerged from the cave as you were watching through the spyglass. He waves his sword back and forth. And he says, "This won't be the last you hear of me." And he begins to run towards the cave.
I'm like, oh my God, he's so fast.
His long legs carry him swiftly into the darkness. Does anybody pursue? Do you run after him or do you wait behind to see your friends come safely down the ravine?
Ada would rather wait for us to reconvene together.
What's the worst that can happen? He comes back out of the cave and we kick his ass.
Like I said, Ada was like, this man is the fastest person she's ever seen. So.
Yeah.
All right. With one foe having fallen off a cliff and the other two downed by Tomten's mighty axes, one has escaped into the caves. The four of you reconvene in the face of this cave. You can see it goes quite deep and dark into this cliff face. You see ancient steps cut into the stone on the floor. The camp here looks like kind of just a lookout position. There's a pot of soup boiling over the fire.
Mm-mm.
You don't even see any bedrolls or anything like that, so it doesn't seem like this is where they actually were camping. It just seems like kind of like a watching spot.
So these men who we took down and they're, I don't know, rolling around, clutching their knees and complaining about how bad we hurt them. Do they have any any gold or treasure that I could take off of them?
You riffle through their pockets and you see nothing of significance. Maybe some bits of string. Maybe there's a crushed biscuit.
I take the biscuit.
This doesn't help the story at all, but Ada is going to go straight to the soup and start spicing it up with her pickle juices and whatnot. She has some pickled carrots she throws in there.
Nice.
Ooh.
Time for us to eat, man. We're so hungry. It's been 4 hours plus a battle.
Tomten's going to have some soup for sure.
Shouldn't we tie these men up?
Well, you can do it. I'm too focused on making the stew much better.
Yeah, do I need any skills to be able to tie people up?
Nah, you just need rope.
If I don't say I have rope on my character sheet, does that mean I don't have rope?
Oh, I don't think you have rope.
Oh, but they probably have shoelaces.
Does anybody have rope?
No. My traveling gear is literally a pickle jars.
I don't know. Should people be looking closer at their character sheets?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I mean, that's what it says in my traveling gear.
What if we just use their arms and legs to tie them together because they're so long? That would probably work, right?
I like the tie their shoelaces together idea.
It makes me think, though, he's telling us we do have rope, but I just don't see it anywhere on my character sheet.
There is no rope.
Bottom right side, right in your traveling gear.
I've got a spyglass. That's it.
I've got a lantern.
Yeah, I just have pickle jars.
I've got rope.
Oh, someone who actually has something useful.
I've got my window. Sorry, I've got it on half my screen, so I've only got the columns down to width.
Oh, there
and
you
I'm
go.
looking at the bottom, and I can see I've got a leather shirt and helmet. And I'm going, yeah, no, there's no rope here. And then I just scrolled over, and it's just right there. I've got a bit of rope.
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
Nice.
I tie them up.
All right. You tie these two remaining brigands up, and they are out for a nice nap, bound and...
Back to back, Last Crusade.
Yes. There you go. They have a moment where they realize that they really did like each other the whole time. They just didn't mean to both sleep with the same Nazi spy.
Nazi.
That was all it was. That was all it was. All right. So, you've bound up these two humans. You've got this cave before you. You've polished off the soup. What do you do?
Can we try to interrogate these guys?
And I'm worried that there's captured hobbits in the cave.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I feel like we can ask them. They also talked about some lady or whatever earlier, so that doesn't seem good.
Yeah, this is a Tolkien setting, so if there's a lady, she's evil.
Yeah,
And
a spider
probably a
probably.
spider.
Yeah. Some kind of spider elf, probably. Anyway, yeah, I have both Persuade and Riddle, so I feel like maybe that could be used in a way to get these guys to tell us some information.
Okay, sure.
Ooh, I've got insight.
Can I help Ada by giving a really stern look? I'm going to look really tough and hold my two axes up to, just really send home that we could kick their asses again if they don't cooperate.
Okay, so spend a hope if you are aiding.
Yep.
You slap one of these guys awake.
With a soup bowl.
With a soup bowl. Ding! And Ada, one of them looks up at you with a suspicious and grubby face.
Well, now, as you can see, my courtesy only goes so far. I try to looking as tough as possible as Ada. We took you down, so you should talk. And if you don't talk, my friend here, well, he's got more than cookies.
Does he have some sausage.
And I look over.
Shakes his head.
No.
No sausage.
Oh.
And you know how we feel about sausages. We love them. And that makes us angry he doesn't have any.
Oh.
He nods his head and he looks stern.
So if we're intimidating these guys, that is an awe.
Oh, I was hoping for persuade, but yeah. All right. And then I get a 1d6 because I got his.
Mm-hmm.
You got my backup.
Yeah. I got a 12, but I needed 16.
Oh, not quite enough. He says to you, we don't really have any information for you. Sabian, he was the one in charge. Where did he go? He's probably run back into the cave. We're just hired mercenaries. He needed us for muscle. You know, grab a couple travelers on the road and send them along through the cave. That was our job.
Well, I think we might be able to make a deal. We'll let you go if you can tell us where our friends are.
Roll a persuade.
Oh, I got exactly 15, which I needed to hit 15.
15, okay. The other one pipes up. It was Sabian. He's the one. He's the ringleader. He's down there. I think he was trying to get to the tower. The Tower of Stars. It's out there. It's what's causing that blue glow. Hey, he said that he was going to take these prisoners to help create a distraction so he could get in and get something dangerous, I think.
Now, when they're saying the tower or the blue glow, is it near the cave opening or is this somewhere else? I know we saw it earlier.
You actually, in the distance, over the ridge, the other side of the ravine, over the ridge behind it, you can see a blue glow emanating through the sky. And this is becoming more apparent as the night becomes darker. The strong, bright blue, unnaturally blue in the middle of the night, emanating above the trees and above the rocks.
Okay. Well, a deal's a deal. I do let them go. I cut their ropes, and I give them each a pickle for their troubles.
Thank you, miss. We'll be on our way, we swear. And they scramble up the ravine and disappear into the darkness.
So it sounds like some of the hobbits we're looking for might be in the cave.
Or at least by the tower. Maybe we need to go through the cave to get the tower? That's what I wasn't quite sure.
Or if we go in the cave, we might find some hobbit friends to help us on the way to the tower.
Yep, I'm thinking the same.
We can make Shaun do voices for multiple NPCs, perhaps.
Perfect. That sounds like a plan then.
Okay.
You guys are deciding to go into the cave?
We're traveling.
definitely.
Okay. You step down onto these ancient steps cut into the stone. You're walking through this cave, and there are like tendrily roots hanging from the ceiling that brush across the tops of your heads. And at some points, it's kind of tight on Tomten's broad shoulders. But you come down into a wider area that looks like it was probably used as sleeping quarters. It looks like maybe it was an old guardhouse or something like that, built out of stone, carved fairly well. You can see a small niche on the left serves as a pantry, and you hear dripping water and the occasional gurgling from the next chamber through the only other door in this room.
You know, are there any clues that indicate who might have been sleeping here?
Definitely looks like the men.
Okay.
4 bedrolls.
And they're long bedrolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a coil of rope sitting beside one of them that looks really well used. There's lots of like kinks in it from maybe where knots had been held and points where it's been tied back together after being cut.
Doesn't look like there's any like toe hair that's been shed around or anything. No, no clues that it's a hobbit.
Why don't you make a scan?
17 against 14.
Okay, so you do find some toe hair.
Oh my God.
So gross.
Hobbits always shedding toe hair everywhere.
That's right.
It looks like
They're known for it.
it's that distinctive curly auburn color.
Like sniff it and you can tell whose it belongs to and stuff.
You find it in the corner of the pantry where you can see some of the dirt and straw has kind of been pushed to the side to maybe make a little bit of a cushion for someone's head. But that's about all you see there, aside from a small cache of coins in a leather pouch behind a supply of dry kindling.
I'm taking that.
Dang.
Okay, roll a d6.
Okay. It's It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay. You have a 1 point of treasure.
Ooh.
That's marked at the top of your character sheet and counts against your load.
Okay.
And we're splitting that
Share the load.
20.25 on all of us.
I think it's actually 30% for Tomten and then 70% split 3 ways. It's actually probably easier to split 60% 3 ways. So I think it's 40 for Tomten and 20% for each of the hobbits. Just relative to body mass, if you recall.
Right.
Is everybody taking some of the treasure?
I mean, can we actually split it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 1 point of treasure, but
Yeah.
Okay. We're not splitting up 1 treasure into fractions.
I definitely think we should hammer this out now before we go and save these guys.
I just want to know. I just want to know if you're someone who takes some of the treasure or not.
I mean, I do want treasure.
Okay. What about Timmalee?
Timmalee feels like this is dirty, tainted human money.
Ooh.
She doesn't want any part of it.
All right. What about Matt?
I mean, I was going to take it, and then I heard that. And I
You
felt,
shamed him.
I felt like I sort of reach for it, and then I kind of look, and then I try and play it out like I never went for it in the first place.
Okay.
Can Tomten take their share of treasure?
I think we're splitting it now.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I'm getting
Right.
40 cents.
Buy an onion.
So I would like Ada and Tomten to make a shadow roll.
Oh,
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, so we've each got, what, 2 treasure now and 2 additional load?
You each have 1 point of treasure,
Okay.
but we're going to have to roll to see if you take shadow points for your greediness.
Oh,
What
okay.
do I need to do for this?
You're going to roll a greed is opposed by a wisdom test. So you should have a 1 in wisdom. I marked it on some of your sheets and forgot to do on others. But it's just going to be a D12 plus 1D6.
And because I have burglary, can I roll an extra D6?
Ooh, I might say that actually takes away a D6, if anything, because you're more prone to greed.
But I'm good at burgling.
Because
But
let's
it
just roll
doesn't mean that
it.
you're
Just roll it straight.
good at avoiding the shadows for your greed.
I've rolled a 9.
I rolled an 8.
You both accumulate 1 point of shadow.
Being shamed, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can feel something, you just feel icky about taking all that human treasure.
You can hear the shame bell in the background.
Bling, 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 bling.
But do I get an extra point of treasure for this?
No, you have treasure at all. You're welcome.
Ah,
You just got the treasure.
God damn it.
All the treasure that was there, you got it.
Damn it.
You successfully put it in your pocket.
All right.
All right, next. So you've discovered clues of the hobbits. You've taken the treasure from the horde. You look through that other door.
Listen first.
Okay. Do an explore. Or no, awareness. Awareness.
18.
Ooh, a success.
Ooh, that sounds good.
So you hear a loud crash distantly through the cave, as well as the rushing of water.
Pretty good at detecting if it's pots and pans that are crashing.
It is
'Cause-
not. It sounds like
Okay.
wood crashing against rock. And it's kind of all of a sudden, and then it stops.
That's probably fine. Open the door.
You proceed through the door, and you see the ravine. You come back out into the ravine.
Mm.
You've kind of gone around a little bit. You come back out into the ravine, and you can see what once was a stone bridge is broken, spanning this ravine to the other side. You can see an opening entrance on the other side. And as you look across, you see a figure moving further into the darkness on that other side.
See, does it smell like smoke or something?
You look down, you can see the rubble of maybe what was once like a wooden temporary bridge that had been laid across this gap
Oh.
is like laying down in the base of the ravine, kind of slowly being broken apart by the river beneath. You can see some like scraps of rope that look like they've been recently cut on the other side. It's possible that this bridge was just sabotaged on you.
Mm-hmm.
Probably by that guy who ran into the cave.
Yeah, that we see running away in the distance again.
Could have been him.
Good thing we have some of our own rope. Oh no, we tied up those people with it.
Well, you let them go.
I said
Oh,
the
there we
numbers,
go.
though. Yeah. I mean, can we try to salvage as much of the wood as possible?
There's definitely some stuff like from the camp or from that storage room
Mhm.
that you could kind of assemble together. It'll be tough to build something very strong, but somebody could roll a craft to try and put something together.
Could we just try lassoing the rope and throwing it across and trying to like get it onto like whatever's remaining of the bridge?
Tomten's pretty good at crafting. I'm just
Are
going
you?
to put that
So
out there.
I'm not
Sweet.
pretty good. I'm okay at it.
Just going to put that out there.
So if you're going to use some of that gear that's there, I'll say you're allowed to do it at all. If you consume, we'll say consume Matt's rope, I'll add you another D6 to that. Matt will have to spend a hope for it. And then anybody else who wants to lend a hand somehow, spend a hope and you're in. Tell me how you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little worker bee, I think, more than anything, helping assemble. Are you cool with giving up a hope there, Matt?
Yeah. Sorry, I've just done that. I thought it was for the rope. Or do you want me to
Yeah, all you have to do is...
can I give you the rope and then just watch you work?
You just like,
Yeah.
good job, guys.
No, I mean,
Because I'm like, it's my rope you're ruining. So
no. Oh, thank you for the rope, little one. That's very generous.
This is definitely the way of the Hobbit, so it seems right.
Oh, he's just so sad about his rope.
Okay.
Don't be sad. I'll make something wondrous for you.
All right, go ahead and roll it there, Alex.
I rolled a 20 against 14.
All right, you successfully build yourselves a little temporary makeshift bridge and you lower it across the span.
Nice.
You're then able to clamber over it and get yourself to the other side without too much ado. You all kind of, as you're crossing, you look down and through the gaps in this hastily built bridge and you can see the river rushing underneath, and there's a moment of vertigo for some of the hobbits, but you dash across just as the bridge collapses behind you.
there goes my rope.
And the cave once again sits before you. Who leads the way?
Are you good at tracking Tomten?
I could be.
Or traveling, I guess, just in general?
I'm good at traveling. Yep.
Okay.
And I've got my lantern because it's dark out. So I
Right.
can light the way. Yeah, I'll lead the way.
That seems good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you lead the way, your lantern guiding you through the darkness. You enter a large chamber flooded with water. It goes up to about Tomten's waist, so quite deep on the hobbits especially. There are these huge pillars of stone holding up a crumbling ceiling. The remains of ruined walls and structures litter the flooded halls. All over you see that the walls and pillars here are decorated with dwarven inscriptions and carvings.
Nice. What do they say?
You recognize that these carvings were made by dwarves of the Firebeard clan.
Do I like the Firebeard clan? Are they good guys?
Do you have any lore or storytelling or song or anything like that?
I have a little bit of lore and a little bit of song.
So why don't you roll me a song and see if you know about these Firebeard?
Sure. Yeah. It's a 13 and I rolled a 12.
So you recognize some of these carvings and you realize that these are the ruins of Naraganala,
Ooh.
a dwarven domain which fell to shadow long ago.
Oh.
You know that it was built very closely to a human settlement that, as the stories go, fell in war with a great captain of Sauron's forces. Naragnala today is little more than a dark maze of narrow passages, labyrinthine halls. You know that to go too deep here would be danger. And in fact, as you are exploring this chamber, you can all feel the dread of this evil place, and the shadow bears down upon you, and everyone must make a valor roll against dread.
Seriously.
I rolled a 12 against 18.
Ada rolled a 12 against 15.
All right, so if you roll below your TN, you gain 2 points of shadow.
What?
Ooh.
That's it. I'm done.
What?
I don't want any shadow, man.
I'm out of here.
You can't even go back.
And if our shadow gets up to our hope, that's a bad thing, right?
Yes, you become miserable.
No.
It's just like another day. No big deal.
Just another day. It's just a Tuesday.
All right, you are making your way through these flooded chambers. You see a doorway on the far side of this flooded area that appears to be glowing with a blue light. Between you and there are 2 rows of stone sepulchres.
No, not sepulchres. What are those?
Like stone sarcophagi.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Each carved with exquisite detail. You see 2 sitting in a point of particular prominence, and another set of maybe 6 or 7 in various states of destruction kind of arrayed before them.
Now, I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful of my ancestors, but grave robbing does feel a bit like burglary. And, old ancient dwarf caverns and labyrinths are, I mean, we're known to keep treasure here and nobody's using it. So
Okay.
Can I take a little peek?
Yeah, do you want to go to the lesser sarcophagus first, the closer row, or do you want to go to those 2 prominent ones?
Oh, the prominent ones for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if there's going to be treasure,
You step up.
that's where there's going to be treasure.
You step up to them. These 2 huge marble slabs have been shaped by exquisite craftsmen to represent sleeping figures. One shows a lord and the other a lady, both composed in the sleep of death.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
You give a little shove, and the lid of the lord slides to the side, and it is empty.
Oh.
You turn to the other one, you shift the lid of the lady, and it is also empty.
Oh.
Back where I'm from, we don't typically open graves. Is that a thing you dwarves do?
Ada's in agreement. This seems quite naughty.
Well,
You still have that other row.
there's no harm, no foul. It's empty anyways, so
What do you think, Thompson? You've got a few others. Do you want to check those out too?
yeah, of course I do. I'm looking for treasure.
You step over to the lower level, and you see another one of these is actually marked with a plaque that's still legible.
Oh.
And it says on it, Angnir, Chief Steward, laid in rest with the histories of House Hadirian.
Oh, sounds intriguing.
It seems to be sealed.
How, can I give it a whack with my pick?
Your pickaxe, and the stone cracks, and the lid slides to the side. And inside you see a skeletal, mummified human
A human?
laying flat, and clutched in his arms is a leather-bound journal.
Ho, ho, ho! That looks like treasure! I reach in to grab the journal.
And you have to pull the bones of his hand back
Ugh.
as the journal cracks forward, and the dust kind of sifts off of it as you riffle it open, and you flip to the page that I'm supposed to read you. And it says, "Here is recorded the fall of the House of Hadirian and his wife Elwyn. I, Angnir, steward and captain of the guards, write this record to preserve its memory. It was in the time of yada yada yada." It actually says ... "They built a wooden seat in mockery of a throne, in plain sight of the castle walls. Then they tied our lord Hadirian to it to torment and ridicule him. They tortured him for hours.
Yikes.
When the orcs nailed an iron crown to his head, hailing Hadirian as the rightful ruler of the land, the Lady Elwyn summoned me and asked me to prove my reputation as the best bowman of Arthedain. I chose an arrow from those that I received from my father, and he from his father before him, a white-plumed, slender dart. I bent my bow with all my strength, and the arrow flew straight, piercing the hand of a huge orc who was tormenting Hadirian, and burying itself deep into the chest of my lord. I broke the bow after the deed." The rest of the records chronicle the history of the castle, the fall, and its broken fragments, and how the treasonous dwarves allowed the enemy to enter their castle undetected. It says that those who survived the onslaught fled underground and were trapped there. Lady Elwyn disappeared. Her last known whereabouts are unknown.
Oh, fuck. I don't think Bilbo meant for us to come here.
Yeah, I'm shaking in my boots.
Well, there's no treasure here, so I toss the journal back in with the bones.
Here you go, bones.
Here you go, bones.
And you see a single path left before you. this glowing blue door to the north.
Is it the same shade of blue that we saw?
Yeah, it seems like the
outside?
light is filtering down from the steps above into this stairwell ahead of you. Who leads the way?
Well, it's a dwarven door, right? So
obviously...
So I push the hobbits out of the way. Oh, this is a job for a dwarf!
We're just standing there shaking in our boots, so that's fine.
I don't have any boots.
Just watch you desecrate graves.
Shaking in our proverbial boots.
Shaking in your toe hair.
My
Right.
toe hairs are not going to have any left.
So it's difficult going. Rubble and fallen walls block some of the steps ahead of you, but as you ascend, the faint blue glow grows stronger in your vision. Finally, you emerge into the skeleton of a destroyed human city. There are crumbling walls and pillars jutting out from thick tangles of vegetation. There are twisted and bare trees splitting ancient flagstones with their roots. Nothing here stands taller than a few meters, except for the tower ahead of you and the once majestic palace at its base. You see that the shape of the main hall there is still recognizable. There's a flight of wide, cracked steps leading up to it, but its walls everywhere are covered in crude graffiti. Maybe some human words, maybe some Orcish, and then tangled in amongst it are mixed sentences that look like they're made from Elvish letters.
Wow.
Can we read some of this stuff?
You go up to read it. And do you have anything that would let you know more languages than what you know?
Does song count?
So yeah, you could roll a
Oh,
song.
you've got riddle. That's even better.
Yeah, you could roll a riddle.
Right? Other languages are just like riddles. That's normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
17.
Okay, so you pass.
Yeah.
So at 17, you begin to try to pluck out letters and words from this graffiti that you recognize. And although they are written with some sort of horrible care and craftsmanship, you're unable to truly decipher the words, but you recognize the intent. This is the black speech, and it is a curse upon the land.
Oh, no.
I need everybody to roll shadow.
No.
This is going to be a wisdom roll.
Oh, I got a 12.
12 is an automatic success. So Timmalee takes no shadow points.
I rolled a 5, which includes an 11 on my D12.
Have 2 shadow points, sir.
Oh, 8, I just got a 7.
So if you fail, you take those 2 shadow points. But in taking those shadow points, you understand the meaning of the curse.
Oh.
It was laid by the Witch King of Angmar himself, wroth at how strongly the Dunedain opposed him.
Tomten gasps reading this.
You understand that the ruins here are bound to suffer from the effects of this curse as long as the torment of Lord Hadarian continues. You don't know necessarily what that means, but you can feel it in your bones that the Lord of this place still suffers.
Wow. That's bad news.
What does it say? I don't get it. I feel real good.
Tomten he's not feeling good about this. He's not going to be the one to break the news. He just shakes his head. It's nothing good.
Oh, no.
There's nothing a hobbit should know.
As you are feeling this cold dread amongst yourselves, you look up and you see the blue light of the palace at the top of the tower from the palace is increasing in its intensity. This blue light arcing out. But then beneath it, you see a dark form move. Descending the steps from the tower, through the cracks in the wall and through the spaces where windows once stood, you're able to see a hovering form slipping through the darkness. A black tattered robe that seems to glow with malice and green evil intent. These thin strands of white hair flow on an invisible breeze. And from within the black hood, 2 red embers glow.
Tomten widens his stance and readies his axe and pickaxe.
What do the hobbits do?
Drops all my shit and just stares frightened, unable to move.
Yeah, that's totally a fair reaction.
I'll have everybody roll awareness.
Tomten failed.
Timmalee failed.
Failed.
Oh, Ada actually succeeded. Amazing. She stands there. She is spear ready, but she's shaking in her toe hairs.
So, Ada, as this dark creature emerges at the base of the tower, and it starts to make its way across the palace grounds, the four of you frozen there, quaking, and you realize that this blue glow doesn't have the same sense of malice. And as the creature gets further away from it, you kind of look up and you can see that there's some sense of hope from the tower above. But the creature is bearing down upon you, and as she comes closer, her hood blows back, and within is this emaciated skeletal face, and in a whispering, hissing voice you hear, "Why have you come? There's nothing here, only death. Leave this place or join me in my torment." And from within the robes, she pulls a long, pitted sword and a spear, one in each hand. So we are in combat.
No, she said we could leave. We'll leave. It's fine.
But I will warn you that you don't want to fight this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that happens in combat is a volley. Is anybody going to try to make a ranged attack, or do you have anything else in mind?
I would like to sing her a song of my people. In hopes that maybe she will feel a little bit better and just, forget about her woes and let us pass.
Okay.
Yeah, I can help with that. I got a little bit of song in me.
Yeah, I'll help with that out of hope.
I like use my butt of my spear as kind of like percussion.
Tomten is skeptical of the plan of the hobbits here. He wants to sort of scan the area and see if there's like anything environmental, like maybe a big rock or like a crumbling pillar that could be pushed onto this monstrous monster.
All right, so go ahead and roll a scan. Hobbits who are helping Timmalee with the song spend a hope. And so, Timmalee, you're rolling your song with 2 bonus die.
Ooh. Oh, we like mushrooms. Shiitakes are just fine. That is... Oh, this could have been really good.
It could have been, or is?
No, it is good.
This was going to be great.
17 plus 3, 24.
Woo! We sing a good song.
Any 6s or 12s?
No.
Tomten also succeeds, but no 6s or 12s.
Okay. So the hobbits, beginning shaky at first, Timmalee's voice begins to ring out with one of her favorite songs about mushrooms. And taking up the chorus, Matt and Ada begin to join in, harmonizing with her. And you stand kind of steadfastly in front of this wraith as it wheels its way towards you, blades dripping with some sort of black venom. As your song reaches a crescendo, Tomten, who begins to slide off to the side, notices that there is, in fact, what appears to be a weak pillar as the wraith begins to move past it. I'll let you make let's call this an athletics to try and push this over onto the creature.
Can he get a D6 from our singing, maybe?
Yeah.
It's a distraction.
I'm going to give you fortune from that.
Ooh.
So roll 2d12s.
I failed, but I rolled a 6.
Okay, so you have a bit of a success.
Okay.
So that extra point of success, perhaps the pillar tumbles down just as the wraith kind of notices it. She looks up, she sees this pillar coming at her, and she has to dodge to the side to avoid it. This gives the rest of the hobbits an opportunity to kind of like make a run for cover, or she's distracted for a moment as she's kind of getting her bearings from this change in the battlefield. Let's go to the next round. She does not get to make any actions. Hobbits, what are we doing?
Are we going to run for the tower, or are we running away?
I feel like we should run for the tower. We know our friends aren't back.
Okay.
Can only go forward.
So the hobbits begin to sprint for the tower. Tomten, what are you doing?
Tomten is going to position himself between the hobbits and this wraith. Maybe he can buy them a little bit of time. because their legs are so small. And then he's tough. He'll catch up
Okay.
because he's tough. He's going to look as intimidating and stern as possible.
Yeah, describe it to me like it's seen in a movie. Like, what do we see as we see Tomten taking up this stand?
He like hops down off of this pillar that he's pushed over, and he waddles up and waves the hobbits towards the tower, and then holds out his pick in one hand and holds out his lantern in the other to ward off this wraith, and widest stance, his shoulders as big as possible. He's looking like a fucking badass.
Guess what? This creature has a particular tag known as Fear of Fire.
Oh,
It loses a point of hate at the start of each round that it is engaged with an enemy wielding a torch or some other sort of burning item.
nice.
So you standing before it, your torch blazing strongly, and as you said, it is especially bright. It's your ancestor's lantern. As it glows out, you can see this creature recoiling from it and hissing at you with its blades. The hobbits rushing towards the tower begin to assemble up the steps. This fell wraith is going to attempt to make an attack. I'm going to have you roll, give me an awe as you attempt to ward this creature back with an extra d6 for the lantern.
Ooh, a 14. I exactly matched my TN.
So that is a success. So I'm going to take another die off of her pool, and she's going to attempt to strike you with her pitted blade. That's a 4.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Nice try, Ghosty.
The blade comes down, striking against the ground as Tomten dodges back. This creature hisses at you in hatred. And the hobbits run up the steps. You come to the pinnacle of the tower. This ancient stone seems more sturdy and hard than the rest of the palace. Nothing shifts or crumbles here beneath your feet. It seems to be strangely locked in time. And as you reach the pinnacle, you see the walls here, although they have been torn away, they still retain some essence of its former beauty. The craftsmanship is still there. The little filigree carved into the wall is still there. But at the center of the room is a rotting throne of wood, bearing the resting, mummified body of a once great lord. You see an arrow piercing a skeletal hand to its chest, and a blazingly bright blue gem glowing from the center of a metal crown atop its head. No, nailed to its head. What do you do?
And that's the gem that's kind of been illuminating this whole time?
Yeah, you can see that blue glow is just radiating forth from this crown.
Oh, this is the story from that journal that I left behind.
I don't know anything about this. Nobody ever told me. Oh, no, wait, this is the journal. I know about the journal.
I would have read it aloud. Yeah.
Right. This isn't the cursed. Okay.
I take a page out of Tomten's book and I try to take the gem out.
Are you going for just the gem, or are you trying to pull the crown, or what are you trying to do?
Well, I actually would like the arrow as well. But yeah, I'm just trying to pull the gem out, I guess, with the nail.
Maybe it still hurts him. Take everything out.
So you go and you pull the nail out of his head, and as you use it as like a prying piece on the gemstone, and as you pull that first nail out, there's like a breath that goes through the room like,
Is that good?
Ask him how he's feeling.
Your Majesty, I assume you might be still alive?
roll an insight.
Okay. I fail it, yeah.
You're not sure, but you can still feel this sense of light coming from the crown, coming from the gem. Whereas, like, all behind you and below you, you hear the hissing of this wraith as it screams and it attempts to strike Tomten. Timmalee, what are you doing?
Do I also have this feeling about the blue light?
Yes.
Maybe you should point it towards the wraith. That light. It doesn't seem to like the light.
So what do you do?
My kind of idea, this is on the meta sense, was to get that gem and that arrow and try to shoot it at her.
I think Timmalee would feel like maybe, this guy's just not having a good time with all these things nailed to him and the arrow. So maybe she might remove the arrow as well.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming we only got the gem so far.
Well, the gem is still in that crown.
I'm still working on it.
As you pulled that nail out, you heard that breath. You're just thinking like something weird is going on here for sure.
Okay. So while Ada's doing the crown, I'll take out the arrow.
Okay, you pull the arrow from the chest and there's another And it's not the body breathing. It's like wind flowing through the room. Matt, what does Matt do?
I want to get that crown down to Tomten. I want to get that crown to him to help him with the wraith.
You rush up. All three hobbits are right now just like grabbing and pulling things at this mummy. And you begin to pull more of those nails out of the crown. And with each nail, and as you pull the final nail from the crown and lift it from the mummy's head, it just disintegrates into dust. And the starlight above you returns, kind of piercing through this dark veil that was over the town. And Tomten, you're facing off against this dark creature, and as the light suddenly intensifies in the tower above you, the wraith collapses to one knee, reaching up with its fell weapons, still slashing and swinging at you, and you're still dodging and deking and trying to get your own hits in and throwing the lantern into its face. And as it screams in pain, it too shudders and then begins to turn inside out on itself. And as the crown comes fully free from Lord Hadarian, the wraith disappears. And this uncanny dread feeling that you had, the shadow that lay over the town, fades. And a bright moon begins to come up over the edge of the horizon. And our three hobbits and our dwarf don't know, in the grand scheme of things, how much good they have done in the fight against the shadow. Thanks for listening to the House of Bob. If you want to support the show, you can give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, join us on Discord and chat with the cast, join our Patreon to listen to exclusive content, and get access to RPG zines and supplements authored by members of the House of Bob. And don't forget, Toktober is coming. Check out Matt at Rogue Print Co. on all the socials for cool shirts, zines, stickers, and more. Thanks again for joining us, Matt. Remember that the House of Bob is only possible thanks to the support of our patrons. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Audio production for this episode was by Astronomic Audio, and music was produced by Mike Hammock. Roll on. Insert sound effects here.
Had myself a cookie.
All this cookie talk.
Seemed on brand.
Totally on,
Yeah.
Totally on brand. Yeah.
I did eat cookies before the session. This is the ones I like a lot.
Oh, yes, those ones are quite tasty.
I had a stroopwafel.
Stroopwafel. I don't know what that is.
It's like a very thin little waffle, or like two very thin little waffles with caramel in the middle.
Ooh.
Yeah. My parents went to Holland earlier this year, and when we went down to visit for Thanksgiving, they sent us home with stroopwafel and with that fancy cheese that
Right. The wheels.
Yeah, the cheese wheels.
It was a real a bounty of Hobbit food for you. I did have a question before we get back into it. So I'm sort of confused about the endurance and hope one. So it says the current endurance.
Yes.
So am I supposed to be subtracting every time then actually from that? Or is it just what my actual number is?
So your current endurance is 22 minus whatever damage you've taken.
Yeah, so then I actually do have to subtract it. But then the fatigue one is I'm putting in how many?
Fatigue,
also points?
Yeah, fatigue builds up over time.
Oh, okay.
So for your fatigue plus your load, if you add those two together and it ever is higher than your endurance, that's when you're in trouble.
Okay.
But you can take your clothes off to bring your load back down.
Yeah.
I don't actually have much that I can get rid of, actually.
I think only one of you has a helmet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
We're hobbits.
I mean, I guess you're hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very well prepared for this adventure. It's a,
Hey,
it's a
Bilbo-
good thing you brought a dwarf.
Bilbo never had a helmet.
Bilbo had dwarves.
Oh God, no! Like I'm sort of whenever I've played this, I've played it with guys that like me have played very little. So we all go like, what will we do here? Will we go down that? It's all quite matter of fact. So like to hear you guys do voices, I'm just kind of like whoa, and I'm like then when it comes to me, I'm like I just kind of I don't know. There's
yeah,
a
but your
moment
voice is
of, like,
authentic.
fuck.
We have to do voices in this case.
I suppose.
Did have a cookie in one hand.
No, we gave the cookie. They took the cookie.
Oh, right.
Well,
I gave the cookie to you, and then you gave the cookie to them. I'm cookieless.
And you automatically put a weapon in your hand every time you release a cookie.
maybe you serve the cookie on the axe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yum.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
good idea.
Oh my god, I just closed.
Hi, Shaun.
Yeah, you did.
Shaun got so
Oh
mad.
my god. No.
Hi.
Should I show everybody you're scrambling?
Oh,
Are you
we can't
still
hear you,
there?
Janette.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They're all
'cause-
just looking kind of bored.
Oh, right. He's the main one going through
Yeah.
there.
because they're doing audio through his computer.
Yes.
So
I
does
don't
this
have
mean
to
we
up-
'Cause
automatically
you
win the
can't hear me,
encounter?
right?
Oh my
I'd say
god.
so.
Trying to flip through my PDF and I hit the X on my other window.
So we took a vote and we decided that this means we win the encounter
Oh, is that what?
because you dropped.
Yeah, right.
It's like when the teacher doesn't show up to class for 15 minutes, you
Yeah.
can go home.
This makes sense. This makes sense.
Oh my God, math.
Insert sound effects.